Hello. Hopefully, sound should be on, everything should be on. Uh, let's hope everything is as it should today. If you can let me know if the sound is okay, that would be brilliant. So uh, it's always something, but hopefully today it's the sound it's okay. Can you hear me all? Um, Probably a little bit faint. I hope it's okay. It's a bit stronger now. Should be stronger. So you can hear me and see me. Okay, fantastic. That's a good start, isn't it? Hopefully it's gonna be technically not problematic. At least there is sound. It's a small studio, and it's been the last weekend I got a new desk, one of those ones that you can put a hanger on up, because I'm spending a lot of time in the computer nowadays, so it's good to have one that for my bag that kind of works well. So I spent the whole weekend moving things around, and it looks exactly the same with minor fiddles that make my life much better. But of course, it means that I have moved things and I don't know where they are and things like that. So hopefully, it's all okay. I should do a little video of my studio in a couple of weeks when everything has got its own place. But I want to make like the this area here, so the kind of crafting with Lisa Horton things, and then other stuff in there as well. I can see that both Lorraine's have joined us. Hello. Lisa's joined us as well. Hello, Lisa, as well as Jean. Lisa is doing very, very well, and hopefully, it's all going very, very well. So have got so many plans, and Tim, if you have missed the news, I'm sure you haven't, but Hannah Son has joined the team, so she's doing all the social media, all the design team kind of stuff, and she's just already amazing. Like last week was one of the most productive weeks I had, and that's in Lisa Horton Crafts, because lots that bits and pieces that we were doing, she's taking over, and of course that means that we can just do what we need to do. We have got so many ideas. Just before we went live, we were having, like, Adam had an idea, and then Lisa, and then Hannah, and then myself, like, all kind of carry on, and we could do this and this and this and this. So 2026 is shaping up to very, very exciting. Rebecca is here with us as well from the design team. Valerie, of course, as well. So it's brilliant to have your company. Now, first of all, I hope you are very safe, because of course there is a big storm out there, and keep warm and cozy indoors, which is the perfect time to craft. And I think it's the perfect time to craft things that maybe take a little bit more time. Maybe it's just those things that maybe during the year everything is like the gardening, this and that, and now it's like, okay, I can craft a little bit for myself. Hannah has joined us as well, so we have got a team here. So many ideas, so many ideas. The problem is, like I always say, it's like ideas never has it. Like it's like it have always on there. Is the execution, the time and energy to execute all those ideas that I think, but we will get there. And thank you so much for your patience about things. First of all, I wanted to remind you of a couple of things. One, which will I repeated, which is the amazing deal that we have got on the website right now, is 443 for a die set. So of course I'm going to focus on Paula Creates, because why not? So if you go, for instance, if you want to get these 3 die sets, you could also add, say for instance, the treasure book if you don't have the treasure book, and then of course the cheapest one of them will be for free. So that's, I think, a phenomenal deal. So I recommend you to have a look on the website. That applies automatically, so there's no code. So make sure that you check what dies are in stock and you don't have, because it's a brilliant way to save some money. And we always do this. I mean, I am the first one who does that. I mean, for instance, the desk that I was talking about before it, I waited until it was a good deal. And I think when it comes to dies, you know, getting the fourth die set for free, it's a phenomenal deal. So I would definitely get in there as well. Now, lots of you are crafting finally. As I was saying, it's like now is the time to craft. So for those projects that we have been putting off. And Rebecca is saying, for instance, that now she's crafting, she can feel free to craft because all the Christmas cards are done. I want to ask you, how are your Christmas cards? Because I have only done a couple and I need at least I need 10. So it's one of those things that is going to be last minute. Lorraine Sander is doing a slim line box while watching. That's fantastic. I actually have one of the samples. This is one of my favorite samples that Lorraine Sanders made for the launch, and this is the slimline, and I absolutely adore it. I want to hang it in my studio. At the minute, I'm organized. I have a box where I put all my samples, so if I have got a show, they are there. But this one I really want to hang out because I just think it's just so pretty. Anyway, saying that, the other thing I'm gonna need to remind you on, and I'll put it here for a while because it's like it's always important. So we have got here, I'll put it there. So on Hobbycraft, we have got a ink school show that I'm doing this Thursday, 7:30. It's a double, so 7:30 till 9 o'clock. So it's an hour and a half. And then back at 12 p.m. Now, they are the same items that we have seen before, but what we are going to have them as individuals. We also have the the complete guide, and I make sure that every single free download is included in that as well. So it's just one click and you have got one document, so you can print it all out, including the color guide thing. I'm going to be doing I need to prep, but I know what I'm going to do, which is the producer had the idea of creating the color wheel but doing it as a clock. So so if you get the clock mechanism, then you can do it. So that is another thing that that I'm gonna be doing, hopefully, time permitting, because how we it's slightly different. So we have got show on Hobbycraft on Thursday, but remember that's going to be ink school. We will have a great deal on I believe is the matte blending inks, the release number 2. So again, if that's some inks that you don't have yet, ink pads, do make sure to join us. Actually, I will show you what the ink school. So this is the download that you can buy on both on our website and on the Hobbycraft, of course. But just wanted to make sure. So the release 2, I need to fill it up. I'm gonna just quickly show you the one that is gonna be on. So that is the one that you can see here. That's the one that we are going to be featuring, which is a phenomenal color palette. I think if you like pinks and purples and teals, this is definitely the one to go. I mean, these 3 colors, and then those pinks and those 2 pinks for me are absolutely phenomenal. So it's one of those collections that definitely tune in. And shall we just start going through it? So I'm going to show you the dies that I'm gonna be using. I'm going to put a QR code. I've done that. So you have got a QR code here, which is the whole collection of Paula Creates plus Pick by Paula. So if I reference that, there we go. And then of course we have let me see. So the first one that we are going to use, I have already pre-die cut, but I'm going to show you specifically so you can see. This is the filing box. This is the die set that requires an A4 die cutting machine, because that is the die that definitely needs an A4. Now, this is a die that if you have an A4 die cutting machine and you like construction, this is one of those ones that is so handy. I have been using it all the time to create little boxes like these. So therefore I can put things like scraps, like I have all these scraps when I cut I did a project with, I don't know what it was, but it was you can see here, this is the color white code cards, and I end up with a lot of cutouts. And how you store them? Well, one of the best ways to store them, I find, is either this way or this way, vertically, like so. And you can see, you can even put an A5 like that, and then you can easily access and see them. So I have them around. I have got about 6 or 7 in my studio, and that works really, really well for storing and accessing those skies. But of course, the other thing with these boxes is the fact that if you if you had the sleeve, you will be able to put 6 like this or 6 vertically, and it gives it a little bit more durability, and of course it's one of those ones that works very well in construction, and for other things as well. Of course you can do it. You don't need, you have got all the instructions in here. You don't necessarily need, but I recommend also, especially with the offer that we have got on the website, that is for the price of 3, you can get the slimline box frame, which is the one that creates this is the sample as well that I showed from Lorraine, and this is the perfect lid for it, right? That creates that amazing lid. So these are the dies that kind of I'm featuring today, plus the fallen leaves as well, which I absolutely adore, from Lisa. All right, and then of course let me show you the slimline frame box in here, and of course all the dies are on that. If you click on that one, then everything is there. And then you have got the panels, the slimline panels, which is the one that you can see on the top here, and of course that cuts into the card as well, so it creates a really beautiful geometric pattern. Also, it's a little bit out of the coast, so you can see it here as well that I use it. And then finally there is the other one, which I didn't pull up, which is the filing box panel. So we said the slimline, that one is the one, this one, so that's the QR code. And then finally the filing box panels there. Now of course this will work very well for cards as well, so you can create little cards if you wanted, of frames, and I have got a few samples of that on my Instagram as well. Now of course you can see it here, how the panels look together, and it is well, it is December the 9th. So I'm going to put the advent calendar. I'm going to change it so you can see it. So I have it here. So this is what I have done a couple of videos. I showed on Hobbycraft last time I was with Paula Creates how to create this. There is a download as well that you can buy, and it tells you exactly what you need, exactly how, and also includes the download. So we are on the 9th. So I believe the 9th. I already opened it. So 9. So I put in 9. I didn't put 9th because I kind of like the 9 more than the 9th, but there we go. So we have the little treasure book, and the treasure book, so you either get a drawer, which I will have chocolate, or you will get a book, or you could do it all with little drawers, so yeah, you will get in the downloads the things to do it. But yeah, and of course you have got these things which are like the song to listen to, the carol to listen, blank pages, so you can write memories. So for instance, what you did those days, you put some pictures, some memories, and then so like a prompt or something to do for Christmas, and then finally watch a movie. So the books will have watch a movie, so every other day, or however you decided, you can watch a movie. So I'm going to show you how the 8 was also a book, but then I would think it was like, was it? No, the 8 was a little drawer, so you can see the chocolate has been eaten. And then the 10th, that's for tomorrow. So here you have. So we will have some chocolate, quite a lot of chocolate actually. I actually am letting Daniele eat it all. And then of course you can display it. I have it in my living room like this. And then next year I'm just gonna close it up and have it there. The only glue that you need is the hinges for the side, and as well as to the back, the two together. But basically you can do all this with Paula Creates. Right, so let's do a bit of crafting now. because I wanted to show you. It's just I just love that advent calendar. This is like really nice. Oh, Karen, hope you're doing well. So, Joe, great that you join us, and let's get crafting. Now, as I mentioned, we will do a little bit of the boxes, and I'm going to show you a pre-die cut these because, of course, I have got my platy green right beside me. So, and this one requires an A4. This is the only die that would never go through you know, a smaller die cutting machine or a medium. You can see this is an A4. Look at it, it kind of fills it up. But what you have in here is the ability, say, to cut those two cuts in here so that you can see here. So what I do is I line it up with those lines in here, so you can put it, I put two lines so you can align the top or align the bottom depending on how if you want it a little bit higher or lower. And what then that does is that then you can add this with this die. You can then add, see, I dropped something already, the little pull up or label holder as well, because I think like labels are important. Now, the reason why I didn't put the two cuts on the die itself is so if you are doing just this, that you don't want a label, so for my the ink pads and things like that, then you don't necessarily need those two cuts. I didn't want it to have it there if you don't. It's not that it would make that much a difference, but I don't like to weaken the paper or to make a cut if you don't need it to. So to assemble it is super easy, right? So all you need to do is make sure that you fold in the right lines, which is like this. If you have a scoring tool or scoring folder, always is a good idea because that makes sure that the folds are a bit better, more burnish, but you can just put like so, right? Just gonna put the mouse underneath it like this, because otherwise I'm gonna throw it away. You know, I'm one of those people. So there we go. So you can see that this one doesn't have the two cuts, so that was because I cut it without it, and then just fold it and fold it. It's very easy, the folds. And as per usual with Paula Creates, you don't really need much glue, but I recommend always to add a little bit of it just to make it a bit stronger. Now, here I'm going to cut this tab just to make it easy. You don't even need to, but it makes it sense to cut it. And of course, the instructions are included in the packaging. And all you do, you see how they go, so identical. Turn them over. I will want to know how many Christmas cards, who has made the most Christmas cards. I would love to know. Right, so you just slide it on that little cut and then press it down here. There we go. Now, one of the reasons why I like to do dies that don't require glue is because the fact that it doesn't require glue means that assembly is going to be really quick. You're not having to hold things together and having to, you know, like die cut a million pieces and then, you know, this and that. But that is just literally, you die cut twice, you fold it, that's it. Now, of course, when I say a little glue, always it makes it stronger. I recommend it because it's then you can just go in, add a tiny bit of glue. Of course, now this one I haven't used in a bit, and I'm not very good at cleaning the nozzle afterwards. Where is the other one? I always have got two, and I always, there is one that I never clean properly, and then there is the other one that I clean. That's one of the reasons as well why I like to design things without glue, because that way you don't have to clean up nozzles and things like this. Press it down and then a little bit. So this is what it does. It kind of makes it a little bit stronger. But again, no glue means that you are not going to have to be there holding it, because the structure itself it's holding it while it's drying, so much faster, much quicker. And when it comes to crafting for a little bit of presents or Christmas, it really is a good idea to have it. So again, this could be for your brushes as well, you could have that. But what I'm going to do is just simply decorate it. Now I have put glue here. I'm not gonna use the pull-up label. I'm just gonna be, it's gonna be a present. So what I'm gonna be doing now is bringing in my platy green in here, right? And then I'm gonna show you how to cut the slimline die, the slimline frame box die, to if you don't have extended plates. Now this is why, you know, it can happen. Let's see where they are, my bits for the plastic green. I put it all, like I mentioned, I tied it all up, and I was like, and now it's underneath it. So I have got here the plates, right? And I don't need the gray one, I just need 2 green ones, and the platform. So if you look at the actual plates there, you can see that this is slightly longer, but I want to show you how you can die cut it, even because the important thing, the thing that makes a die cutting machine or a die go through the die is the width. The length, even if it's longer, you can always do partially cut it. So right, so what we're going to be doing is exactly that. So first of all, I need to trim my paper. So what I'm going to do is take my scissors. And remember, it's the perfect time now to get those larger dies with that offer of for the price of 3. Let me put the papers out of here. I'll put these things as well, the samples, away. Never enough space, never enough space. Although, you know, I need to tell you, I took my 2 kitties, they were due the vaccines and check. Anyway, I took them out, and then Fuji, of course, the gray one, the darker gray, is now, the doctor has said, put her on a diet. And she's a bit grumpy. Well, actually not grumpy. She's very needy. She's right beside me, which is very, very cute. Right, so let me show you can see it. Now, you can see that the paper fills it up, but obviously there is not going to be enough, right? If I put it like this, you will see that there's not going to be enough plate here. So what I'm going to be doing is going to make sure that I can see the plate here coming through it, and I know that it finishes around here, this line. So what I'm going to be doing is securing it with low-tack tape a little bit more in this area. Now, if you don't put more low-tack tape in this area, what happens is when you start die cutting, this may move a bit. So to make sure that you have got a, you know, a good die cut experience, you put a little bit of low-tack tape. Now we have got, oh, I believe we have got people joining on. Is that from Pennsylvania, PA? And of course, Joanne is joining us as well on YouTube. So thank you so much for joining us. Now you can see that all this is not gonna die cut. Don't try to feed it this way. This is gonna be much harder, and you could end up bending the die. So always feed it from the end that is kind of flush there, right? So then I'm gonna put it through here. Apologies for the you know, kind of wiggling off the table. Now, have you seen what I've done? I have gone all the way up to here and then move back, because that is a good idea when you do this technique. Then this blade doesn't actually go through the die cutting machine at all, just because it's not as protected. Now, what I've done is, as you can see, the low-tack tape secures the paper to the card. Move it across. I can see it coming through. Again, that's the end. We are not going to die cut, but already we have pre-die cut in the first version, and then we are going to go all the way. Apologies for that really sharp sound. Now I don't need to go all the way, that should have gone, but I'm going to go through the middle, and then we are going to go back. Now Lorraine is saying that she has made 47 general Christmas cards and 22 personalized for the family. Now she's on to the gift boxes and money envelopes. Now, I think that's hard to beat. I'm gonna put it on the screen. I love this software because I can do things like this. So I can put, she says, no, actually, there it is. Look, Lorraine, 47 and 42. So that's 69, almost 70 cards. That's amazing. Right, you can see straight away that it has die cut everything. So if you are somebody who you're thinking, you know what, I don't have an A4 die cutting machine, so I can't go for the larger die sets. The only die set that I said, I would say, yeah, don't get is the slimline. The filing box, but the slimline, absolutely, you can see here how I have pre-die cut this. Not pre-die cut, I have made sure. Now, this low tack tape is a little bit more tacky than usual. Why? Because of course I have gone through the die cutting machine a couple of times, so that has pressed it a bit more, but it's absolutely fine. It's a little bit sticky there, but it will be fine. I have folded a bit more, but you can see it has scored and cut every single line. So I'm gonna put my plates away. So that is done. Put my die away. I tend to, well, I'll take the tapes off because that way I can reuse it straight away. That's a good top tip, Paula. Because I tend to leave them on the dies, but it's not a good thing because then, of course, by the next time I come to it, I use it, it might be that they are a bit, how you call it, untacky. Again, to just fold the lines. Here, the only one that doesn't want inwards is this one, the first one on the long side. Go there, and then all the others go in and in. I have to, so 69 Christmas cards. I wonder if somebody has done more than that. I actually, I always tell the story. So I do apologize if you have heard it many times before. Christmas cards was what started me making cards and paper craft and things like this. So that's why they mean a lot, but I don't know. There's a few years since for a few years I haven't had time or energy or focus to make them. Right, so we have got the slimline, and of course to assemble it as a lid, we can put it like this, put a little bit of glue. You have got also a piece of card that you can put in there, a die that it matches perfectly, and there you go. That's how this box works. So this one can I'm going to put glue because I like to put glue in this one to make it a bit more stronger. So then again, you know, it's very easy. It's not one of those ones that you have to hold for a long time. To be fair, I'm using the high tack, which I will say it again. And it's funny because every time I say it, I hear my own voice like, don't, you know, you promised that you wouldn't say things like this. But when you find a glue that is your favorite, best ever glue, in my opinion, this, it's hard to stay away from saying it. If you don't have the high tag by Lisa Horton, do yourself a favor. They come like this. I put one of these, you know, like knock clock things. This one is an old one. It's an acrylic. And I keep it here, always in my table, with a fine nozzle, as well as the, not the extra fine, just the fine nozzle, as well as the full bottle. It's very squidgy. I really love the bottles as well, so you don't need to It's one of those ones that if you don't have to use a foil nozzle. And there you go. How quick and easy was that? So if you have to do loads, this is a brilliant way to do it. Also, because of the way that the box is, like kind of it's a double bottom. So even if you use a slightly thinner card, this will work really, really well. Now, what we could put here, a little candle. You could put a tie. You could put a belt as well as a present, a couple of pair of socks, underwear, a lingerie if you want it, or lingerie. Don't know how. Karen Kid says agrees with the glue is the best. I have used so many, and I had many favorites, but you know that's definitely up there. By the way, this is something that I recommend doing with the white core cards and any other card. And if you have the color wheel, let me grab it. I'll show it what it is because you might not have seen it. So if you have the color wheel that I said, these isolators of the colors. So these ones, they look really good. They work very well to die cut it out of paper, and you use the scraps, so that way you can see the swatches. So for instance, here I just wrote autumn and winter, and then I can find out color combinations as well. So for instance, say I wonder how this orange, like suddenly thinking, oh, I kind of like that, or or that brown, that green, and the blue, you know what I mean. So that works well. And also it helps you if you are organized and you write the set that this is from, then it helps you as well to know exactly where that's at. So I recommend to do that because I often lose track of what color goes in what. Right, so now again, the other Lorraine also agrees with the glue. It's such a good glue. It really is. Now, I have got a couple of silvery colors card in here. So I'm going to kind of start thinking about those panels. And I kind of like the idea of making a very luxurious box. So what I would do is like the pattern out of the glitter and then the base out of that one. And I want to do that all throughout. So we have got several options. The option that we could go is with this one, which is where did I put them? I put them somewhere safe, and then I cannot forgot it. So you could do the filing box panels, and then the whole box is very symmetrical, or you can use those one on the longer side and then using those ones on the shorter side. I have to say, I absolutely adore this set, so I'm going to be using that one because I think it's very Art Deco, and the silver and the blue is very Art Deco. So I'm going to focus on the slimline panels, but of course I'm going to be using as well those squares for the other ends then. So let me do. So a slimline. Now here I have got a few options. So what I'm going to do is take the rectangle for, well, actually I'm going to take the rectangle. Now this rectangle comes in the slimline box, and then the stitch detail or the blanket stitch detail is from the panel. And so there are two things you can do, because there's so many things you can do. So if you want to show, so see, this is where I get, oh, shall I do this, shall I do that? Right, so I'm going to die cut that out of the base. That's going to go with that, and then I will need 2 or 3 of them actually, and then I'll need this one and this one from the glitter, and that's it. Now here is when it's one of those sets where if I had a double-sided adhesive, well, I do have it, but I don't know that hand, I would put it on the back because then it's going to make it life a little bit easier. There are many techniques on how to place the dies. Not making much there. So they are placed perfectly even. Some people say never to do it. I do say, well, if you're going to do it, just make sure that you secure the dies themselves. So this is the cutting edge. I put a low tack tape on the other side, so I know that more or less it is an even side in here. And then what I do is secure them, both of them, to the piece of card. Now, with a luxurious card like glitter card, mirror card, and things like that, I tend to always pre-cut it like that, because if there's an accident here, I make the mess of the, this falls apart, like falls over or something like that. I know that the piece of, I haven't wasted much card, right? So then, and I will need 3 of them here. So what I will do is put a little bit more low tack tape, secure them to the actual plate as well. Can you see it? So yes, I use a lot of tape, but that makes sense to me. And out of this one, there we go. So make sure that is even there. I do the same thing. I kind of go in, and it's always good to be, it's better to be safe than sorry, right? So I'm going to move it across there, right? So I'm going to do one by one, because otherwise I might have a bit of problem. I tend to put them at an angle, so that kind of helps with the die cutting, so it's not completely straight. Can you see it, that is slightly bended, not completely dead on parallel? There we go. The wobbly, I'm trying to hold it as tight as possible so it doesn't wobble. Now, whenever I use glitter card, that's when I kind of think about layers. So I will put glitter card always on the very, very top layer, so nothing is kind of glued to it. Never throw this bit away. Of course, there are downloads for free on the website. The Paula Creates ones, they have got sentiments in here. So, again, more pieces. This would be perfect if you like to do paper piecing. I love the concept of it. I just never have the time to do it, but this is a very easy one to do, because there is like literally I think there is 12 pieces, well 13 if you count the center, but look how gorgeous. I really like this one. Look at that. Just so simple as well. And this one is one of those ones that if you do it in rusty colors, it will look very masculine. But if you do it with flowers, then it's a perfect one to do with other things. Now, top tip for this bit, of course, you can reuse them. But I would put it with a strips die, because to make it even thinner and to make sure that those lines are perfect. Right, so I will need another one of these ones, and then I'm going to put this one here. There we go. Put it in there. I wonder so I have asked about how many Christmas cards you have done this year. I haven't seen an answer from Rebecca. Rebecca, how many? No, it's not. Rebecca has been commenting on the actual the kitty situation. Apparently her 2 cats need to be on diets as well. Right, can you see? I love that detail as well. And look at that. That is just very, very nice, isn't it? I love that. Now, if you wanted to have more contrast as well, you could do this, add a little bit. So I might do this, because it kind of, then it looks, shall I do that? Because that looks very nice, but it's more subtle. So you can see it here, a little bit more subtle. I will do that, but I'm going to die cut. I first need to die cut the silver one as well. So I'm going to die cut 3 of them. And then I will die cut that as well. I wonder, it's funny, isn't it? The cats, it's just like, I feel so guilty now not to be able to give them tasty food anymore, not to be able to give them treats. And the worst bit is that Kabuki doesn't need to be on a diet, but she's on a diet because when you have got 2 cats, you know, it's very hard to have two different foods, you know, especially as kabuki will eat very fast, very quickly. And then, you know, Fuji is the one who doesn't goes after and just eats whatever is left. Right, so another one. And again, I would definitely keep those pieces for paper piecing, but not today. Make sure with intricate dies that you clean your dies. It's always a good idea. And it just so happens that there is enough in here to cut that one, which I always love when this happens. That I'm basically left with over an A5 in here. Again, I'll put it in the middle. See, this has moved a bit. Just making sure that, see, this is what happens if you cut it quickly. Then it's good idea to secure it on the tape on the plate, because that way make sure that you don't miss out anything in there. I think I have got, oh no, it's been okay. Now glitter card, there is certain glitter card that is encapsulated and it will not die cut well. I always recommend to get it from, you know, like manufacturers that like Lisa or others that will have, you know, they know that they will tell you if they are for die cutting. Now, one of the things I love about this die set is see how you can offset it a bit and create a really great pattern as well. You can also do it like cut it into two squares, basically like this, which I might be doing. Can you see how you can create a completely then different pattern as well? So there is a lot of things that you can do with this die set. It's one of those ones that really like the pattern itself. I'm going to keep that one. I'm going to take the outer one, so that one will cut out of the card, and place that one. Yeah, so because I know this card is, although it is 250, it's very smooth, so therefore it can be like cut two at the same time, so that will be a little bit more speedy. There's something that has fallen. Oh yeah, I know what it is has fallen. It's the little tab at the end of the handle. I never put it properly, so this bit from here, from the handle, but I don't like it to lose it. So there we go. So I have those bits also cut. See, I wasn't supposed to do this, and now I'm taking, still have got 15 minutes or so, so I should be okay. I should be okay. Okay, so, and remember, you can get, or if you are kind of thinking of completing your collections, whether it is Paula Creates, whether it is a collection of the fundamentals, there is like that for the price of 3, obviously. See this low tack tape, I don't know what's happened, but that's not normal. This is not normal. It's a rebel that usually doesn't do that, this tape. I think he has heard me say that about another one that I like it even better, and she's gone on like, okay, I'll show you who's boss. Look at that it really works for me. And then layering it up in here, and then that way you have got the glitter mattifying and then the silver in there. Hannah, the other Hannah has Mother Goose. I love that one. Mother Goose has commented. Lorraine says that her stopper keeps falling off as well. It should be fine now. Maybe we are so strong, aren't we? So Hannah, Mother Goose, as I love that nickname, is just so fantastic. She's saying, last year she made 150 Christmas cards. She made it for her daughter's class and did some craft fairs. So far the year, she has made 2 cards. You are a girl after my own heart. I mean, it's some years. I think I'll say this. We have to give us some grace as well, because some years making cards is easy, because and I always find that, like, I remember when it was COVID, the first year of COVID. Is it the first year or the second year of COVID? No, the first year. And when we were allowed to, there was a little break that we were allowed to go on a holiday or travel to see family, which is what I did. And then, but we then had to isolate for 2 weeks, which I did to the letter. And it was funny because I kind of, 2 weeks in the house, with nobody else to talk, I went a little bit mad. But I crafted a lot. I sew and I did certain things. And, it was just like nice to do it. Other years, you just don't have time. So these ones are going to be the panels for the sides as well. So that can go on the side as well, in here and in here. So I need to do another one. And the final one. And some years it's just like, regarding Christmas cards and creations, it's just not there, at least for me. It's just not. These beads are one I think that is really cool to do with, to have them ready for the strip die, because I'll show you what I mean. If we have strip die, I have the strip die here. I thought I had it here ready to go. But basically the strip die will allow to use those little strips and cut even thinner, and then we can use them for frames. You can use it for highlight things, and it's a really, really cool. So that's done. And then finally, the only thing I need is another one of the blues. So I'm gonna go in. Will it fit? Oh yes. So I might go for a lighter blue. This one will work with it. So that's a nice blue. I don't think I've got that one as well. So that might work. So what I'll do is die cut 2 at the same time. This is why it's so good to have leftovers nearby, because you never know when you are going to need a little piece. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to cut into a bigger piece unless I have to. I feel so much happier when I'm using leftovers. Leftovers as in, like, oh, I have that bigger project and I have got all these bits and pieces to use. There we go. So we have that and that. And then finally I need to cut as well the sides. So here I could go with the darker one. Right, so therefore we have 3D. So you can see that there's slight difference, but I might do it, or I may put the lighter one, which is, oh, that's beautiful too. But I might keep the darker one. I think that's going to be the case. Right, I'm going to put these dies away. And then I want to bring the little ones, the square ones, in here. So all I need is that. Another one. So this one will be the actual silvery color. And I need 2 of them. Do I have time? Oh, I have got 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Well, I'm not gonna fast, but this one also I can't die cut it at the same time. So hopefully, the only thing is I don't know where I put those. I'm gonna go and look for another piece of the dark blue, which I found because I'm organized. She says for once in my life I should have it there. So I have got the dark blue. So again, cut it, and I'm gonna cut it in half and directly put it here. put a little bit of low tack tape there and there, and then we'll only need to do another one. So you can see how quickly and easily you can make these cards, because I have wasted a lot of time talking and, you know, just faffing around. But if you know what you are doing, unless you know, not like unlike me, why I'm using a fork. I mean, that is just like, that is just not a good idea, is it? Right, let's put this one. Let's do another one of the letter card. Have you ever seen somebody doing use a fork to poke out things? I mean, that's the most random thing I have ever done, I think, in my life. Not in my life, no, I have done probably a few more random things, but you can see it. Now, if you're wondering why on earth I am not putting the, I'm keeping this in here, it's because in my wisdom, right, in my wisdom, I put away my little basket, my paper basket, and I just forgot to bring it over for the live. So there we go. There we go. Oh, this is what I was looking for. The brush, not the fork, the brush. If you have one of these sponges, they do make a bit of a difference, because they grab it a bit more. And I tend to do the last few ones, but it has all die cut. It's just a really they're really good dies, so it just die cuts it perfectly, but it's just like they get kind of almost like a static on it. And it fork, yeah, Lorraine, I don't know, I don't know why I grabbed that, and I don't even know why I have done that. I think I had it for I was trying to do some marks, I think, with acrylic or paint, and I was thinking like that might work, but you know, it's just one of those. See, don't do this. Just put it on the paper basket. I clean deeply as well on deep clean, not deeply, on the weekend. So these will go here, so you can see it. I'm not gonna, and then we'll go up here. And I like it because it's two-tone of blue. And then that is gonna go in here as well. And then those ones on the top. So I think I'm gonna put the top like so. I think that works really nicely. And with you, when you have got a fine nozzle, that makes it such a big difference. So what I do usually with these dies that they are very intricate is I go around the edge, the outside edge, and if you have tested on your skin and you are fine, and then I just spread it, and then of course that means that it spreads the excess, but also it means that it adds glue to wherever there isn't already glue. Then press down. See, there is a little bit of excess in there. I was going to use my t-shirt, but I'm not going to use that my t-shirt because that's one of the nicer t-shirts. I got a few. I have got a uniform for day-to-day craft at home, which is black t-shirt, longer sleeve t-shirt, and then some leggings. Both, and everything is very inexpensive, but still there are some that are more inexpensive than others. And this one is not the cheap, the one that you get like 3, 4, I don't know, 15 or something like that. I love that. I think it's just very simple, very elegant. And I think when you do things like this for presents, that they don't take long. I mean, you don't even have to do the sides if you don't want to. even if you just do the panel like this on the sides, that will look really, really, really nice. So Lorraine also for in the craft room. The only thing I have ever used a fork in craft has been for to use one for tying bows. But it didn't work for it. Yeah, it doesn't work for me either. Yeah, as well. I don't know why I have it, and it's not because I don't tend to eat in the studio. Sometimes I do have cereal in the studio. Come mid-afternoon, sometimes it's like, you know, when it's like that 3:30, 4 p.m. and I was like, still I have got a couple of hours to go. And I was like, I'm really peckish, and kind of a little bit of cereal kind of works well. Now here, I forgot to do the one thing that I kind of tend to do. Sides, a little bit of glue, not in the front. That's Paula. Today and every day lately, it's been one of those days. So what I do, take it out, place it like so. There we go. And then the same here. Oh, we have got 3 minutes. Will I be able to finish it in time? I don't know. We will see. But hopefully we will have time. I'm making so many errors. Like, you know, when you know, rookie errors. All of them. I'm making them, all of them. Because here, for instance, that will drive me insane. But, you know, that's it. Oh, sometimes it's what happens. I remember now the voice of my mother, because I gave her some time. She asked me before she started making cards, and my mother asked me for she said, oh, could you, if you ever have got cards that you don't, you know, you're not going to use anymore, could you give it to me so you use them? And I was like, oh yeah. So I gave her a bunch, and I gave her a couple that they were really not very good. And I said to my mother, said, well, you can have them if you want, but they're not very good. So she took them, and years later she kind of went like, when she started making cards, she was like, well, you know, not even you make cards that are all the time good. And it was like, oh, you know, you took them, you know, one of those ones that is like almost like, you know, your mother almost like she make sure that she grabbed them so she could remind me that I get them right. Jane has joined us as well. Jane Davidson, the lovely Jane Davidson, and she's asking about well, she's not asking, she's suggesting that this makes a lot of sense for cards for men. Yes, I tend to want to make things that are I like the word non-gender specific, because I think that, you know, if you make something that is going to be for everybody or for most people, then it's just going to be very much more useful, right? And this makes such a lovely cards for men as well. I know it's kind of based on a Japanese pattern as well, so there we go. And then basically the same will go here, but I don't have time. I'm not going to spend time poking out those beads, but basically that one will go in here. Now, when it is finished, it's a really elegant, like Jane was saying, but also it allows us to put on top whichever, you know, kind of leaves if we wanted to, as well as flowers if we wanted to. I'm going to show you another one that I did with one of the Alex Siviria plates as well. So there's a lot of possibilities that you can do, and I really recommend that. Remember, there is the 4 for the price of 3. So if you haven't finished or you completed your Paula Creates collection, it's perfect. I'm very excited to say that we have finish up some new designs for the next year. So um hopefully they will be here, probably I think at the same time that the first ones were released this year. So we hope. It's a long process of designing. I'm somebody who needs to focus because there are dies that it's a lot of paper engineers, so it's not, there are certain dies that are easier to make and some others. We have got so much in the pipeline. Is so excited, and hopefully Claire will be back in the new year with doing the regular lives. I think I'm not sure if you know what? I'm not sure if I am doing the live next week because I know that there's some hobbycraft shows, but I don't know if it's the Tuesday or not. So in any case, make sure that you check the schedules on the Lisa Horton Crafts. Do follow us on YouTube, of course, on Facebook, as well as on Instagram, and to keep up to date, and not forget to join the group. Thank you so much for everybody, and take advantage of the offer and join me on Hobbycraft. Let me put it again, the channels that we are on Thursday, this Thursday coming, YouTube Freeview 97 and Sky 672. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and see you very, very